Hi, good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. So, Soumik, what I will do is, I will go ahead and I will give you 2 questions. And I will give you 15 minutes. You can choose any one question out of the 2. And, you will be given 15 minutes to solve that question. And after you do that, then you have to go ahead and you have to tell me what exactly the approach you took to solve that question.
Okay.
Okay. So let me go ahead and share my screen. These are the 2 questions you have. You can choose any one. It's 6:18 on my clock. So we meet back at, let's say, 6:35, and you choose any one question and then we see what you attempted.
This strictly differ. Yeah, one of the is correct. B is refer to all. D. Yes. One. Probability is 100. DSE Yes. Yes. Better. Better than sounds good. The farmers who don't content provisions. So 2573 plus 100 as minus 100 years minus 25. Yes. plus EX. Now, X squared minus E. And this should be the denomination. The instance company has initially cost 5 plus plan. This amount is independent of how much instance the client buys. The government wants to appear instance market. The second instance the instance company has at least 5 per plan. So instance company amount is independent of how much insurance the client buys. The government wants to regulate the insurance market by setting the insurance minimum fee so that the company just takes it on. Okay.
Is it done?
And I could do only part A and B of second question.
No problem. Let's discuss this. Okay. So what did you do in the first part?
Then actually I have forgotten the formula for coefficient of risk, absolute risk aversion. So I left that part. But
Okay. So it is double derivative of utility divided by single derivative of utility with a negative sign. So minus u double dash y upon u dash y.
Should I do it right now?
Not required. You just have to differentiate. I think you will be able to differentiate. You will get 1 by y as the answer.
Ma'am,
Okay.
the second part of part A, the certainty equivalent, I got it as 50.
Correct. Okay.
And ma'am, the part B.
So in the interview, they will ask you to solve this on board. So when they ask you to explain them everything. What is certainty equivalent? What is its definition? Why do we use this formula? Everything. You have to explain each and everything there.
Should I explain now, ma'am?
Yes. What is certainty? Start with what is certainty equivalent, then your approach, then your answer.
And certainty equivalent is that certain amount of wealth that the consumer requires, so that is exactly equal to the expected utility. So if I find the expected utility, I got it as LN50. But since the demand, the for movement utility function is log y, and I can substitute y with 50. So I got y certainty equivalent as 50.
Okay.
Now the second pattern, I got x is equal to 125p minus 100 upon p square minus p.
125?
125p minus 100 upon p square minus p.
Upon 2p square minus p?
I'm only p square minus.
There should have been a 2 in the denominator. Anyways, tell me the approach. What did you do?
And I first found out the expected utility when the farmer is taking the insurance. And
Okay.
I got that when it's a long expression. ln 100 minus px into 25 plus x minus px divided by 2. And
Okay.
then I equated that in with the expected utility which he was getting without availing the insurance, which is ln.
So you equated expected utility with insurance to one without insurance.
Yes.
Okay. So my question to you here is, why did you not maximize the expected utility with respect to P X, with respect to demand, and got the demand function?
No, I thought that the farmer must at least cover the farmers. If I thought that if the farmer is availing the insurance, then it must at least cover which is what he is getting without insurance. So keeping that thought in my mind, I did it. But I think
But won't that give you the value of premium, the amount of premium in which he's indifferent?
Yes.
And the question is asking, derive farmers' demand for insurance.
Yes.
Right. So if you are supposed to find his demand for insurance, you're not supposed to go ahead and say that he will be indifferent between the two. That is the method used when you have to go ahead and find the amount of premium at which he will be indifferent between buying and not buying. So ideally here, you will find expected utility and you will find the first order condition. You will try to maximize expected utility and find the value of XP from there.
Yes.
Okay. So that should be done in the second part. Okay. What about the third one?
Third one, actually, I was first trying to do the first one, but it was little complicated, so I came back to the second question little later. But I can tell you the approach which I was going to follow. And please scroll up a little. And could you please scroll up the PDF a little up?
Okay.
On my screen, your face is yes, I'm fine. And I was going to, because given the insurance company has administrative cost of ₹5 per client, so it is one type of cost that the insurance company is bearing for each client. So and this amount is independent of how much insurance market by settlement and insurance payment. What I was going to do is to make his profit is equal to 0, and that is by making his revenue equal to the cost. His revenue would be XP. His revenue will be XP because in any of the circumstances, either it is either flood occurs or not, he is getting XP amount of rupees. XP minus what he is paying to the consumer, that is 1/2 of X, because he is paying only once. XP minus X/2 minus 5 is equal to 0.
Correct. Okay, that's correct. That's absolutely correct. So what you would have done is, once you write this equation from part B, you will find the value of X. You will have that, right? Yes. So you will have to substitute that in part C, and then you can go ahead and find the value of exact value, or just derive the equation. That should be fine. So this is correct. Part C is correct. Okay. So what I would suggest is, Soumik, go through each and every formula and each and every line of Snyder. So you realize, right? See, this formula of risk aversion, we did it in class also, and it is given in Snyder somewhere. But sometimes what happens is we skip these formulas because we are focusing on only doing the past year questions or the back questions. So go through the reading also once. Take 1 day or 2 days. Look at each and every formula given by Snyder in his book. Do not skip on anything given in Snyder. That will be covered, that will make you covered for the interview. So make sure, like for example, choti cheeze, like here we had risk aversion formula, like coefficient of absolute risk aversion. But sometimes you will have some other formula. Make sure that you go through Snyder thoroughly. That's my first thing. Secondly, make sure that you don't tell the panel that you don't know a particular answer. Suppose here I ask you, suppose you answered this correctly, and now the panel wants to confuse you. So they could have asked you, okay, what happens if instead of administrative cost being per client, the administrative cost is lump sum? How will you solve in this case? How will the answer change? So make sure that you think of, whenever you read a question on Snyder, back question, you think of all possible permutation and combination in that case, okay? So that if the examiner twists you, you should know the answer to it. Never say, I don't know, or, sir, can you please tell me some other question? No. Whatever they ask you, try to answer something related to it. Don't skip on the answer. Try to think of all permutation and combinations possible related to a question now when you're practicing itself, so that, whenever the examiner twists you, you should know that, okay, if this happens instead of this is how I will answer. And other than that, it's okay, you chose the second question, but I still want you to think about the first question. So I will share this question with you. And there are 4 or 5 more questions that I have in mind. I will share those also with you. Try to go through all of those questions from the point of view of exam. Okay?
Yes.
Okay, so I will take another mock test with you before you sit for your final exam. Maybe I will pick some question from maths or consumer theory. But till then, I want you to revise each and every concept given in Snyder book. Don't skip on anything.
Okay. And,
okay. Yes.
Can you please give some hint about the first question?
So basically, this is basically a very simple question. You just have to know what is the definition of the von Neumann-Ginsten utility function, and you just have to try and see what is being satisfied or not. So what you can go ahead and do is just find out the expected utilities. Just say, for example, here this says A is 100 with probability 1/3, 50 with probability 1/3, and 20 with probability 1/3. So you just have to go ahead and you just have to first of all find expected values. So 1/3 into 100 plus 1/3 into 50 plus 1/3 into 20 and so on. These are your expected utilities. Now, in general, you have to understand that these VNM utility functions, they are invariant to the linear transformation, which means that you have to go ahead and understand that if utility of 100 is 1 and utility of 20 is 0, then how will you go ahead and how will you write the inequalities? So I don't have a pen paper to exactly explain you this. You just have to make sure and see whether these preference orderings are being satisfied for these lotteries or not. If you're able to go ahead and do that, that is it. Now, how do I make sure that these preference orderings are satisfied or not? By giving some value to the utility. देखो 100 को ज़्यादा utility देना है, 50 को कम देना है, 20 को और कम देना है. So maybe you can just say that let utility of 100 be some value, be 1. Let utility of 50 be 0.5. Let utility of 20 be 0. हर एक को एक utility को value दे दो and then see whether these preference orderings are satisfied or not. B की utility निकाल लो, A की निकाल लो, C की निकाल लो and D की निकाल लो. And see if this is getting satisfied or not. If it is satisfied, then say yes, otherwise say no. So here you had to go ahead and choose some utility numbers yourself to solve this question. Okay,
Yes,
I will share the answer with you. I will share in terms of this, but यहाँ पे थोड़ी assumption was required. You yourself had to give some number that let utility of 100 be 1. 50 is less than 100, so let utility of 50 be 0.5. 20 is less than all these, let utility of 20 be 0. So you give some utilities, then you find the expected utility of A, B, C, D, and then you see whether these preference orderings are being satisfied or not. Okay.
yes.
Okay. So sounds good. So let me, yes.
I wanted to ask how important is econometrics, because I have read very less of econometrics because it is not coming in any of the exams.
It's fine. It will not come in the interview. Don't worry.
And the simple definitions will work, right?
Will work.
But is
Ideally, see, most of the time they will give a question, one from micro, one from maths. They will ask you to choose between micro and maths. Very rarely, if the panel changes, then they will give you question from macro. They will not go to econometrics. Don't worry. Most of the chances are there it will be from micro, one from maths. You have to choose one question. Okay. Anything else?
I wanted to ask ma'am, I asked you, sir told that I must have been prepared with what is a favorite subject and what is a favorite topic. And I'm indifferent between mathematics and micro. And I was asking, if I say maths, will it backfire me? Because if they ask very hard question in mathematics.
Go for micro. For sure, go for micro. Don't go for maths. Because in maths, a lot of times they will ask real analysis. They won't ask general math. So they will go to some part of real analysis or some part of logic which may backfire. Definitely go for micro. Micro, at least you can answer something related to the question, if not everything.
Yes.
Right. So with time, I have heard that questions are coming easier for students. If you have done the, if you have done books sufficient well and the videos, it should be fine.
I have done that workout book is 1.5 times. Varian Workbook book.
Yeah, just make sure that you go through Snyder also, each and every page of Snyder. Sometimes what happens, right, that the questions given in workbook or back questions of Snyder don't cover every topic given inside Snyder, right? So for example, this, most of the time, students don't know what is VNM utility function. Jabki it's the same, it's the uncertainty utility function. So, but these definitions, they just confuse students. So make sure that you go ahead through each and every concept given in Snyder. Ek topic you should know. That should help. Okay. So that even if you don't know the exact answer to the question, you can just manipulate here and there. You can give something related to the answer. Okay?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so I will move on to my next interview then. So what we will do, Soumik, I will keep another round of interview. Until then, I will also go ahead and I will share some more questions for you related to this. And I want you to go ahead and practice those also before exam. Okay? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.